Hello everyone, welcome to Global Government News. Today is August 4th, 2010, and I'm Darko. Thank you for joining me in this eugenics news portion of this video series. And this first article I'm covering is called Tons of Toxic Chemicals Flow from China to Russia. And this is pretty much a result of the recent floods that have been going on in China. They've also had an oil spill recently, which was also not a direct result, but a result of the floods. So the floods have really, reached its peak, and it's really been wreaking havoc over there. But just like the points that I made with other videos with Pakistan and the floods that are going on there, you just have to remember that cloud seeding is always a possibility in any of these situations, and that I've read in the U.S. government's documents about how it will be used or how it could be used as a socio-political weapon. So, with that being said, we also know that China and Russia openly admit that they have weather modification programs, and that China is the leader in creating rain droplets. That portion of the technology of weather modification, they have it down to a science, but not so much to a science that they can control every aspect of it. They do things that are not planned, like the snows that they had in Beijing. But anyways, it says on Wednesday, approximately 7,000 containers of hazardous substances were washed away to a tributary of the Amur River with floods from the territory of chemical plants in China. This was originally July 30th, 2010, so it's already, almost 5 days old. It says on Wednesday, the flood reached its peak on the Vendée River in Yonghe County. Thousands of barrels of chemical storage from two chemical plants were washed into the Vendée and then swept over to the tributary. Says there were 4,000 empty barrels with the capacity of 170 kilograms and 3,000 barrels filled with highly flammable explosives or explosive chemicals, 2.5 thousand of which contain trimethylchlorosilane. And when you look at this chemical, some of its what it's used for, the derivatives they were talking about before is this trimethylsilyl fluoride, bromide, iodide, cyanide. So it's could be some pretty potent stuff to be in the water. And while all those barrels are going to be arriving in the eastern part of Russia, they've been dealing with this heat wave and all of these fires that are reportedly breaking out because of the heat wave. So now they're breathing in all of this smoke and that. It's been pretty bad over there. All these pictures are pretty crazy. But so Russians, man, they're breathing in the stuff that's floating down the river, and now they're breathing in the stuff that's in the air. This NPR article, Heat, Smoke, and Worry Cloak Moscow. This is from today, August 4th, 2010. As Moscow's record heat wave began, I threw open my screenless windows in my apartment, blah, blah, blah. It's kind of a little bio. But it basically just shows some pictures of people jumping in the river and that. I wouldn't want to be jumping in the rivers now, though. This next article is from MSNBC.com. Actually, it's from Reuters, but MSNBC is carrying it. Called Cancer Cells Feed on Fructose. Study finds research shows the refined sugar helps cancer cells proliferate. Hey, look at that. You know what, guys? I just realized, or I just learned, is that MSG and aspartame work synergistically. I guess that means that they work together. That MSG, when it works, when it's mixed with aspartame, it activates it and makes it worse. We all know that aspartame is not really good for your brain as far as it affecting it and your nervous system and possibly causing brain cancer. That's what they found in mice. But we have this high fructose corn syrup that's been in almost everything that's sweet. If they don't have it, then it has the aspartame in it. So it says pancreatic tumor cells use fructose to divide and proliferate, U.S. researchers said on Monday in a study that challenges the common wisdom that all sugars are the same. Tumor cells fed both glucose and fructose used the two sugars in the two different ways, the team at University of California, LA found. They said their findings published in the journal Cancer Research may help explain other studies that have linked fructose intake with pancreatic cancer, one of the deadliest cancer types. And it says that, and check this out, quote, they have major significance for cancer patients given dietary refined fructose consumption and indicate that efforts to reduce refined fructose intake or inhibit fructose mediated actions may disrupt cancer growth. Americans taking large amounts of fructose, mainly in high fructose corn syrup, a mix of fructose and glucose that is used in soft drinks, bread, and a range of other foods. It says politicians, regulators, health experts, and the industry have debated whether high fructose corn syrup and other ingredients have been helping make Americans fatter and less healthy. Too much sugar of any kind not only adds pounds, but is also a key culprit in diabetes, heart disease, and stroke, according to the American Heart Association. And I was kind of reading something yesterday about Morgellons disease, and if any of you are aware of it, or I'm sorry, if any of you aren't aware of it, it's basically a skin condition that, as of right now, most doctors will not tell you what it is, and they don't even acknowledge the prognosis or the diagnosis of Morgellons. But many of the people believe that is coming from the weather modification programs with cloud seeding, specifically using these fibers, these nanoparticles, these nanofibers that are sprayed along with aluminum barium oxides and possibly silver iodide. But it's the nanoparticles that are little transceivers. They receive and transmit information. Now, if these things are contained in these cloud seedings that they're doing right in the air, then they're using your body. And this is what I read, is that these little nanoparticles, they use humans' bodies as an energy source. So you're like a battery. And one of the side effects, or one of the symptoms of Morgellons, is fatigue, is being tired. And so that would make sense, because these little nanoparticles, they're little computers, and they can self-replicate. And if they're using your body as a body source and you're becoming tired, then that kind of makes sense, right? Because if it's getting a power source from you, then you should be losing energy. And so this is how this kind of works with the cancer and the fructose. And that's basically what they found in this study, which is pretty creepy. This is some actually very surprising but good news. Prop C passes overwhelmingly in Missouri. This is from stlouistoday.com from August 4th, 2010. It says Missouri voters on Tuesday overwhelmingly rejected a federal mandate to purchase health insurance, rebuking President Obama's administration and giving Republicans their first political victory. It has nothing to do with that. A national campaign to overturn the controversial health care law. The states are being forced to pay for this thing, if you're not aware of that. And many of the states are going broke. They're going bankrupt right now. They can't even afford fire departments and police in some states. How the hell are they going to be forced to pay for health care for people, right? So they can't. So it has nothing to do with politics. It has to do with just simple, flat out, they don't have the money. Please check out this article. I'm running out of time. World Health Organization, fluoridate water supply, population specifically. That is right. They're going to stop fluoridating those people in more well-developed nations, because there's public awareness and they have fluoride toothpaste. But in less developed nations, they're going to keep fluoridating the water, like in India, where people and children. And in this article, Army's vaccine plan inject troops with gas-propelled electrocharged DNA. First, they'll shoot the troops with a gene gun that's filled with DNA, and then they'll follow up with a short electrical pulse. Thank you, everybody, for joining me.